Alright, so we're getting the garden ready for the winter time. I've got just a few crops out here that haven't gotten harmed yet, some good cold weather crops, as well as these lychee tomatoes that are pretty resistant to freezes. Just got some broccoli, bok choy, and kale and things out here. That's really about the only row worth anything at this point. Got some garlic planted along the north end over there, and I'm going to be putting in some potato onions off on the other end here to finish out that row. I've put down some boards from some demo I did on one of our sheds, and I don't need those boards anymore, so I'm laying those down, and hopefully that'll kill off what's really sod. We planted popcorn there, but so many weeds had taken over in that area that it was essentially still sod, not really broken up. I didn't really till too much in that area. I'm hoping that will kill off those weeds and any blackberries that still want to come up in that area. But today I'm working on getting this whole garden put to rest. So this area out here that's still pretty much sod and weeds, I'm going to go ahead and put some cardboard down, mow some of the yard, collect and bring back the different leaves and grass clippings over here, get those to kind of compost in place to prep those areas for next year. And if we get enough over there, then we'll go ahead and spread that out in other parts of the garden. The soil over here just really isn't that healthy. Even in transplanting a blueberry out of the edge back here, I moved it over into one of these rows. And when I did that, it was just gray. And whenever you have gray soil like that, it usually means that you've got periods of time that the soil is really wet, which I can attest to from what I've seen in the spring. And then that's followed by periods of time that are really dry. There just isn't enough organic matter in this soil for a good healthy garden, so hopefully this will help fix that. Still got a row here of beans to clear out, and back up here we've got the blackberry rows. I'm going to leave those as is. I think they're actually going to turn out pretty well. We'll see how much fruit we get out of those. These are areas where I just mowed my walkways, but other than that I didn't really do much other than pull any weeds that got taller than the blackberries. Blackberries are pretty good at suppressing anything else that wants to grow with them for the most part. So unless it grows taller than them, I don't see any point in pulling those out. So see what kind of yield we get from that this upcoming year. It's getting pretty beautiful out here with those changing colors, as well as the blueberries out there changing colors. So we're going to work on getting this area cleaned up, probably clear out the raised beds as well, and bring that plant material over here and hopefully compost that here as well. Well, I'm going to go get mowing, and we'll get to it. Alright, so now that I've got my leaves and my grass clippings all set, I think I'm going to go get some wood chips. The idea of that would just be to make sure that all of this doesn't actually just blow away if it dries out before more rain comes in. So I'm going to go ahead and go load that up and bring that over, and I think that's how I'll top it off. Alright. Alright, at least this section of the garden is ready for next year. I'm going to add a little bit more mulch to this, maybe add a few more layers of leaves and grass as the season goes on. But for the most part, I think we'll call it good for this spot. I think this is going to do a lot of good, even if I let this compost in place, but then spread it around come spring. no matter how this turns out, I think this is going to be really good. The mulch actually that I used here is stuff that has sat for a year, and it was just wood chips. There was no treatment to it whatsoever. So those have already kind of gone through some of that composting process, just sitting in place. Some of the trees that those wood chips were from were dead, but others were alive, so it's already had some heat to it. I remember last winter getting into some of that for the chicken coop for their bedding, and there was steam coming out. So it's already gone through quite a bit of that. It shouldn't have weed seeds to it, and maybe it'll help kind of kickstart some of this. If nothing else, it'll keep the leaves in place while they decompose for me. And hopefully doing this and widening this area here over the next week or two, we should get some better soil out here and some better moisture retention and just overall fertility. I think it'll definitely help out quite a bit. All right, well, we'll check this out maybe sometime next year after some things have started to produce. Maybe I'll plant some items in here and plant them in some untreated areas and see if we can see a difference in that fertility. But I don't think there's any way that this isn't going to be better than what was already here. Thanks for watching.